Hello students, in the last class we have discussed about chutneys and sauces wherein different fruits and vegetables like mango, apple, tomato, carrot or any other fruit or vegetable can be preserved by using salt and sugar, either including the seeds or excluding the seeds, just like in the case of your chutneys including the seeds and the skin, whereas in the case of sauces excluding the seed and the skin. In this lecture, we'll be discussing about processing of tomato, which includes preparation of various tomato products like tomato juice, puree, paste, ketchup, soup, powder, and cocktail. So these products, these are essentially they are prepared from the primary source, that is from tomato juice, which upon either concentration or by addition of different spices or inclusion of some starch powder or mixing of some other sauces, you can vary the ingredients and make various products, and according to the requirements and desires and various consistencies you can prepare various products. Why is there a separate lecture on tomato processing? As we all know, in the way of Indian cooking, we will never skip any cooking item without the presence of tomatoes. So that makes tomatoes indispensable in the Indian cookery. So that's why there is a separate lecture on this tomato processing. So here, these tomatoes, not only they are indispensable in Indian cooking, but are also widely grown in India both in summer and winter. So these are delicious fruits, or as it is consumed as a vegetable, so they are considered to be highly refreshing and they cause appetizing when you are consuming it. So that's why we tend to have more of tomato soup before having any kind of either lunch or dinner, isn't it? So here most of the tomatoes that are being produced in India, so during their peak season, due to the glut, due to the excessive production during the seasonal production, so what happens to the most of the tomatoes? So they are being wasted, they are being lost as a result of post-harvest losses or storage losses or handling losses. The tomatoes are being sometimes so left by the farmers uh, due to the depressed sales. So they will be selling at a very cheap price, 1 rupee, 2 rupee a kilo. Sometimes even if you are giving a throwaway price, nobody is bothered to pay that and buy the tomatoes. But during the time of your off season, so that is onset of some monsoon season, you won't be finding tomatoes at that cheap rate. So in such conditions, we will make use of our processing technology to preserve these tomatoes in one or the other form so that they can be available for the cookery purpose, for the delicious taste purpose, by using various other techniques or technologies. Wherever and whenever there is a peak production of these tomatoes, they can be processed into various different products like juice or pulp or paste or ketchup or sauce, or different products can be made. So initially you need to make it into in the form of a pulp, so by converting, because the fresh tomatoes, so they are highly perishable. Once you convert them in the form of a pulp, so they can be stored for a very long periods of time, and further this pulp can be used for the preparation of various other products like your sauce, ketchup, which are very popular in India. These are the tips for producing very high quality product from the tomatoes. The first thing is first using fresh farm ripe tomatoes. If the raw material is not up to the mark, the entire product will be turning out to be a waste. It won't be a bright, attractive, and it won't be juicy, and it won't be accepted by the market. And the second aspect is while cooking, while heating, while processing, if it is prolonged for a very long periods of time, then there are every chances that the product may become dull or faded because the red pigment, that is lycopene, gets oxidized and may turn into a faded color, which does not give the attractive red color that is there in the tomatoes, that will be lost due to prolonged heating. Another aspect is the cooking implements and the utensils that are going to use. If at all if you are using any kind of implements which include iron or copper, so that will impregnate iron and copper into that, which will cause sulfides of iron and copper, which will form eventually your black color deposition, which will fade the product or discolor the product. Tomatoes are considered to be highly refreshing and appetizing. They help to produce a lot of gastric juices that in turn will help in digesting the food. And not only that, they are also rich source of vitamin C. So that's the reason why most of the tomatoes, they are transformed or they are processed into various different commercial products like juices, puree, paste, ketchup, canned soup, or even dehydrated tomatoes can be prepared out of these tomatoes, so which are highly seasonal and they cannot be found in the off season or they may be expensive. So that's the reason why these fresh tomatoes are used for production of various other products during the on season. Like in the small scale industries, these tomatoes are used to produce tomato puree, which is a less concentrated form than that of the tomato paste, so which is used as a semi-finished product in the large scale. So that means in the small scale industries they produce less thick tomato puree, and in the large scale industries they use high thick tomato paste. Both these products, both these semi-finished products like your tomato puree and tomato paste are used for different products like ketchup, soup, powder, cocktail, etc. These are the various tomato products that we are going to discuss and understand the method of their preparation. These products include tomato juice, tomato puree, paste, ketchup, soup, powder, and cocktail. First product is tomato juice or the tomato pulp. This is the mother of all tomato products. So this is the basic ingredient for preparation of various other tomato products like your tomato puree, paste, or ketchup. Tomato juice is nothing but it's a pulp or a juice which is extracted from the tomato fruits. So try to extract either by without application of heat, that is called cold press. If you press the fruits without application of any kind of steam or heat, so that is called as cold press, or by applying any kind of heat, you try to extract the juice out of it. So you try to extract the juice out of the tomatoes, and then it is not concentrated, so it is just nothing but tomato juice. You try to extract as much as possible the tomato pulp either with or without application of heat, then that is called as tomato juice. So for the preparation of this tomato juice we need to select firm fully ripe tomatoes. So no way we are going to compromise on that. If you use underripe or partially green or 75% green or breaker stage, any stage of the tomatoes is not suitable except fully red stage. Even the overripe ones are not suitable for the preparation. So if you compromise with the ripeness of tomatoes, then you are going to end up with a poor quality. Whatever the quality you will be ending up will be of faded or poor quality. Either the color may not be bright or the flavor may not be good. In such cases we need to use the right variety, right type of tomatoes, so which are fully ripe, not overripe, fully ripe, and then fully red. Uh, They should not be even underripe. Let's discuss about the first product of tomato, that is tomato juice or tomato pulp. So this is prepared from the plant ripe tomatoes, which are red in color, and the selection of tomatoes should be in such a way that they are not overripe nor underripe. They should be completely ripe. Such tomatoes are selected for the preparation of this product because the ripeness of the tomatoes decides the quality of the product. If the ripeness wavering, either underripe or overripe, it defiles the quality of the product. And after selecting the fruits, tomatoes, they need to be thoroughly washed, removing the dirt and debris, and then they are crushed. They are crushed by using a fluted wooden roller crushers. And this during this crushing process, the juice or the pulp can be extracted by using different methods, either by applying heat, that is called hot pulping, or without the application of heat, so that is called as cold pulping, or by using screw type juice extractors. So any one of these methods can be followed for the extraction of the juice. And once this juice is extracted, so the juice may impart slightly astringent taste. So that can be counteracted, that can be nullified by mixing certain amount of salt at the rate of 0.4 to 0.6%. And addition of a little amount of sugar also will help in improving the taste. And such tomato juice which is prepared by this process can be packed into the bottles and can be stored as a starting material for most of the products for further preparation of puree or paste or ketchup, sauce, or any kind of product. So this tomato juice will form a base material. Let's understand the detailed description and the various steps involved in the preparation of tomato juice. It involves various steps like your washing of the tomatoes, crushing, pulping of the fruits by different methods, and then it goes finishing, homogenization, filling, and finally labeling and storage. After selecting red, ripe, sound fruits, these fruits are thoroughly washed, removing the dirt and debris, and then they are subjected to crushing. So this crushing can be carried out by different methods, and initially they are trimmed and then they are cut into 4 to 6 pieces for the extraction of pulp. So this is one method, or they can also be crushed by using fluted roller crushers or even by using fruit graters. So any one of the methods can be followed for crushing of the tomatoes that are selected. After crushing the tomatoes, these are subjected to pulping. The pulping can be carried out either by cold pulping or by hot pulping. These methods are different from each other in the aspect of application of heat. In the cold method, there is no application of heat, whereas in the hot pulping method, there is an application of heat. In the cold pulping method, this method is less advantageous, whereas the hot pulping method is having a lot of advantages in terms of getting a juice which is of superior quality than the cold pulping method, and which is much easier, and then which gives a brighter colored juice, and which retains vitamin C and a thick juice, and it will help in the preservation of the juice as well. Whereas in the case of your cold pulping method, it gives a juice which is thinner and which is duller, that means lighter in color, and it involves lot of effort. That means there is a difficulty in the extraction of the juice, and even there is a great extent of loss of vitamin C, and even it cannot stay for a longer period of time due to the microbial decomposition. So because of these reasons, these two methods are different from each other, and it's the hot pulping method is having advantages over the cold pulping method. Whatever the juice that is obtained as a result of cold break method or cold pulping method is having certain characteristics which are uh, not as good as that of the what do you call this hot pulping method. These sort of poor qualities that you observe in the juice that is being extracted by using this cold pulping method. Since in the case of your cold pulping method there is no application of heat, the extraction of juice from the tissues of the fruit becomes very difficult. That's why this is a tough method to get good quality as well as the good quantity as well. The yield of the juice that is obtained is also less in this method, and also the color of the juice that is obtained is also poor. You won't be getting a brighter colored tomato, that is a bright red colored tomato color as after extracting the juice, because of the fact that the natural red color of the tomatoes is not extracted. So if you apply heat only, so this color gets extracted and get stick or fix it to the juice, so that you won't observe in the case of cold pulping method. Even the vitamin C content also will be lost as a result of cold pressing. So when you're pressing under cold conditions, so a lot of air gets into the juice, and when this air gets into the juice, the vitamin C gets oxidized, and thereby there is a loss of vitamin C in the cold process. Not only the vitamin C, even the quality of the juice that is obtained, it is not thick as in the case of your hot pulping. Whatever the juice extracted by this cold pulping is thin in consistency. So because of the fact that there is a pectinase enzyme that is present in the natural pectin. So this pectinase enzyme, what it does is it acts upon the tissues, it acts upon the pectin, and then it makes the tissues soften, and the pectin is converted by this pectinase enzyme, so which will lead to the thin consistency. So the color and even the vitamin C, the nutrients and the quality of the juice is reduced as a result of cold pulping. It's not only that, because there is no application of heat involved in the cold pulping process, there is a chance of microbial spoilage. So the hot pulping process will help in the killing of or in the reducing the microbial load, and but in the case of cold pulping there is no such case. So that's why there are more chances of microbial spoilage in the cold pulping process. Better method of pulping is by hot pulping compared to the cold pulping. Hot pulping is also called as hot break process. So this process involves heating. So after slicing the fruits and then crushing them in a fruit grater, the fruits are subjected to heating. So this is the step which differs from the cold pulping. In the case of cold pulping, there is no application of heat. The fruits are not heated so that the fruit tissues become softened and the lycopene extracted out, and then you will be getting a better quality and bright colored pulp. So here by applying heat, so what you are trying to do is you are going to facilitate the pulp extraction much easier by softening the fruits. The fruits or the crushed fruits are subjected to heat. So either that they can be boiled in a pressure cooker, or they can be boiled in a steam jacketed kettle, or by using open pans, aluminum pans, so that what will happen, the fruits are softened so that the pulp can be extracted easily in the pulper. So after application of the heat, then it is easy to remove the entrapped pulp in the fruit tissues by using a pulper. Unlike the cold process, which has got most of them are, or you can say all of them, or the characters which will lead to a poor quality fruit juice or a fruit pulp, tomato juice or a tomato pulp. But in the case of a hot pulping, as a result of hot pulping, you will get a very good quality tomato juice. As we can see here, so there is a destruction of pectinase enzyme. So the by application of the heat, what will happen to the fate of the pectinase enzyme? It gets destroyed as a result of heat applied. So thereby it cannot hydrolyze the pectin that is present in, which gives a thick consistency. Thereby, in the case of hot pulping, you will end up in getting a thicker pulp, whereas in the case of cold pulping, you will get a thin pulp. And not only that, so by applying heat, whatever the entrapped natural lycopene is present, which is responsible for the red color of the tomato uh, sauce or ketchup or whatever it may be in the case of a tomato juice. So you'll be extracting that red color from the fruit tissues that will be released only by application of heat. So that will remove that color and will extract that color. It's not only that, so due to the application of this heat, so there is a partial sterilization of the juice. So when it is sterilized, then the microbial load will be reduced. Thereby, you can store this juice for long period of time compared to that of the cold pulping. It also has a property of inactivation of the oxidative enzymes. So since there is an application of heat, so there is no less chance that there is an incorporation of air, thereby oxidative enzymes won't be active. So this will get inactivated, thereby your vitamin C will be retained. It's not lost. Ascorbic acid will not be lost as a result of this particular hot pulping technique. And since the facilitation of juice is carried out by softening of the fruits, obviously the amount of yield that you are going to get by this hot pulping method will also increase when compared to that of your cold pulping method. So overall, this hot pulping is having a upper hand over the cold pulping method. After crushing the tomatoes are either subjected to heat in the case of your hot pulping, or they can directly be subjected to continuous spiral press or pulp extraction by using any of the methods, by using a spiral press or by using a pulping machine or a pulper to separate the seed and the skin from the pulp so that you will get a fine pulp. So here we use two kinds of equipment. One is continuous spiral press. Another one is your pulper. So in this picture, you can see a continuous spiral press where the fruits get uh, crushed and thoroughly the skin and the seeds are separated. In this picture, you can see a continuous spiral press working wherein the tomatoes are allowed to enter into the spiral press, and then it is having a tapering end. So when it reaches the tapering end, so it will be pressed hard against the walls, and then you will be released a fine pulp, so which can be separated through the screens, so which are covering the spiral that is rotating. So thereby, so through the screens, the fine pulp will be liberated, whereas the seed as well as the skin that will be left in the screen itself, whereas you will be getting a fine pulp through the meshes. Another equipment for the extraction of tomato juice is by using pulper. So in this also, here either cold pressed or hot pulped tomatoes are used for the pressing so that the juices gets extracted. So usually the tomatoes are fed into the hopper and they get into the screen cage, and where they are pressed by this paddle. So where when it presses the fruits, so fine pulp will be liberated through the screen cage, and in the screen cage it will be retained. What will be retained? The seeds as well as the skin will be left inside the screen, and you will be getting a fine pulp or juice which is devoid of the seed as well as the skin. After crushing and pulping the juice, the next step is finishing and homogenization. So whatever the juice that is being obtained, so we'll be having a slight astringency. So this astringency can be removed by adding salt at the rate of 0.4 to 0.6%. And even the taste and flavor can also be improved by adding 1% sugar. So that causes finishing of the product. But the thing is, the still this juice is having a lot of water content in it, and it is not even, it is not homogenized. So to make the juice homogenized and to separate the liquid from the pulp, so and to give that thick consistency and the uniform appearance for the tomato juice, homogenization is carried out to make the juice even or uniform in appearance. So just like in the case of your milk, the milk is allowed to homogenize, so to make the droplets even, to make the droplets of the same size. Similarly, here in the case of tomato juice, the uneven thickness can be homogenized by using homogenization process, which can be carried out by heating the juice at a 66 degrees Celsius temperature and allowing it to force under a high pressure of 70 kg per centimeter square. So that, so during this force, what will happen, the particles are cut, they are, the sharing of the particles is caused, so that all the particles will become of the similar size, thereby they will become homogenized. Once the finishing and homogenization of the tomatoes is done, the next method is packing. The packing can be done either in bottles or in cans. So in the case of bottles, when the juice is still hot, it's around 82 to 88 degrees Celsius, it is poured into the bottles. So when it is still hot, and the bottles need to be sterilized before pouring the this tomato juice in them. So once it is poured, they are sealed and then they are sterilized. So at a temperature of 100 degrees Celsius for 25 to 30 minutes. Finished tomato juice can also be packed and stored in even the cans also. So it is also similar to that of bottling. In this, the difference is depending upon the size of the can, the processing time is different. So the same method is followed when the tomato juice is still hot. They are poured into the cans, and the processing time is differing from the different cans. So if the size of the can is A2 can, it is 25 minutes, and if it is A2 and half can, it is taking around 30 minutes. For A10 can, it can take around 40 minutes for the processing at 100 degrees Celsius. Once the bottles or the cans are filled and processed, then they are labeled and stored after cooling them. If at all, if it is a bottle, they are allowed to cool by air cooling, but the cans can be cooled by different methods of cooling, by water cooling or by forced air cooling, or by even ordinary air cooling can be carried out. So during the cooling process, there are certain specifications for the tomato juice that is being prepared. So whatever the tomato juice that should be prepared should be derived from the fresh and fully ripe tomatoes. So they need to be free from any type of insect or pest attack. So they should be healthy fruits which are firm and ripe, completely ripe. And there are certain other characteristics which makes the tomato juice accepted in the commercial market. The tomato juice must be free from skin, seeds, and broken tissues. And there are only certain substances which may be permitted. That includes your salt, sugar, dextrose, malic acid, ascorbic acid, citric acid, and other colors. And the minimum TSS, which is free from salt, should be 5%, and the finished product, whatever the product that you will be getting, should have the characteristic flavor and aroma or taste of original tomatoes, and should not have any kind of burnt smell or burnt flavor, and it should have a very good quality, so without showing any kind of fermentation. So even if it is stored at temperature 37 degrees Celsius for 7 days, which is congenial for the fermentation to carry out. So even under such circumstances, if it is not showing any sign of fermentation, that means this tomato juice is fulfilling the specifications. And even the mold count should not be exceeding 30% of the field. So if it should not be exceeding the field count of the molds, and there should not be any harmful poisonous metals They should be not more than 1 ppm in the case of lead, 100 ppm in copper, and 2 ppm arsenic, and 250 ppm of tin, and 19 ppm of zinc. So these are some of the specifications that needs to be followed when tomato juice are prepared commercially. Now that we have a basic tomato product, that is tomato juice, which is the mother of all the products that can be prepared from the tomatoes, like your puree, paste, ketchup, soup, powder, or even cocktail that can be prepared from this basic material, that is tomato juice. Tomato puree is nothing but it's a concentrated form of tomato juice. Rather, tomato juice that is being prepared in the previous product that we have prepared by using crushing and pulping, the same tomato juice can be used for the preparation of tomato puree by concentrating it, by evaporating the excess moisture in it and bringing it to a certain consistency and concentration of TSS varying from 9 to 12%. For the preparation of tomato puree, the tomato juice which is extracted either by hot pulping or cold pulping. So any one of these methods can be exploited for preparation of the tomato juice. Once the juice is obtained and it is further concentrated by any method of cooking by evaporating the excess moisture and concentrating the TSS to 9 to 12%. So this concentration can be carried out by either open cooking or by using a steam jacketed kettle, so where you use steam for the evaporation of the excess moisture, or also a better method which is called as the vacuum pan method, so where there is a only temperature of 71 degrees Celsius temperature is employed for the concentration, so where in which there will be more retention of color, so color won't be spoiled or faded due to high temperatures, and even the flavor and vitamin C is retained at such a low temperature. So whatever the product that is been prepared by vacuum pan method of concentration, it is better than the other open cooking method or steam jacketed method. And then once it is concentrated, they are processed for further storage. They are processed in boiling water by putting them in either bottles or even cans. So they will be filled when the tomato puree is still hot, and these bottles are kept at boiling water for a period of 25 to 30 minutes. They also can be stored in cans by hot filling at the same temperature, 82 to 88 degrees Celsius, on processing for 20 minutes at boiling water. So any one of these methods either can be bottled or can be canned, can be carried out, and then they can also be preserved by adding 250 ppm of sodium benzoate. So by this you can store it for a longer periods of time without being damaged or spoiled by the microbial decomposing organisms. Another tomato product is our tomato paste. So this is a further concentrated form of tomato puree. So in the tomato puree or the tomato juice, which is further concentrated, so which is lacking in skin and seeds, and then it is concentrated to an extent that it contains not less than 25% of tomato. So that means it is having higher TSS compared to that of tomato puree. So tomato puree contains 9 to 12% TSS, whereas the tomato paste contains furthermore. So it contains 14 to 15% TSS. So such concentrated form of tomato juice will become your tomato paste. Based on the degree of concentration to extent to which the evaporation or the concentration of this tomato juice is carried out can be grouped into three groups: light tomato paste, a medium tomato paste, and heavier tomato paste. So these three are different in terms of a percentage of salt-free tomatoes. The light one contains 25 to 29%, medium tomato paste contains 29 to 33%, and heavier ones will be containing not less than 33% of the salt-free tomatoes. How this tomato paste is prepared? So once again, this is prepared from the the basic material, that is your tomato juice, whether it is a hot pulp or cold pulp, it is concentrated by using open pan method. So initially the juice is allowed to evaporate by using open pan method, and later it is further concentrated by using a vacuum pan method, where at a very low pressure itself the evaporation is carried out, then you will be getting a better quality product. So once it is concentrated by using a vacuum pan, and then it is concentrated to TSS of 14 to 15%, then these are subjected to packing. Packing is carried out in pasteurized bottles. When the tomato paste is still hot, they are poured into the pasteurized bottles and they are stored. Whereas if you are carrying out in a large scale, this concentration is carried out by using vacuum evaporators, and then they are aseptically packed, and they can be stored for a long period of time. These are the specifications for tomato puree and tomato paste. The tomatoes which are used for the preparation of these said products need to be from disease-free tomatoes, neither insect nor fungal attack or any kind of blemish scar should be there on the surface of the fruit. So they should be completely healthy fruits, and you need to look in for certain things like which are permitted, which are not permitted, what are the minimum concentration of TSS for paste and puree. The puree and the paste should be free from the seed as well as the skin. It should not contain any kind of hard substances. It should be completely fine. And then only substances like common salt, citric acid, ascorbic acid, spices, color, and certain preservatives which are permitted in the preparation of this product. And whatever the finished product, it should have a flavor of tomatoes, and it should not have any kind of burnt flavor as you have seen in the case of your tomato juice. And even the keeping quality should be very good in terms, in the sense like when it is stored, it should not undergo any kind of fermentation. That means when they are kept at a temperature which is suitable for the fermentation, that is 27 degrees Celsius for 7 days, and it should have a minimum TSS. So for the puree, it is 9% is the specified TSS, whereas for the paste, it is 25%. And even the mold count should not exceed 60%. So in the case of your tomato juice, it is comparatively lesser. So it should not exceed 30%, whereas in the case of your tomato puree, it is should not exceed more than 60%. Another product that is prepared from the tomatoes is tomato ketchup, which is much popular and much relished product of tomatoes, which is used in savories and other snacks as a side dish for enjoying the taste of the side dishes. Tomato ketchup is prepared either by using fresh tomatoes, extracting the tomato juice, and then further concentrating it, removing the seeds and skin, or else you can use the ready-made tomato puree or tomato paste that is available in the market, and then concentrate it or cook it along with the spices, so that only the spice extracts are incorporated into this tomato juice or tomato paste or tomato puree. So that becomes your tomato ketchup. Tomato ketchups should not contain not less than 12% tomato solids. The specifications and the percentage of TSS is similar to that of what you have seen in the case of tomato paste. In the case of tomato puree, it is 9 to 12%. In the case of tomato paste, it is 25%. Similarly, here in the case of tomato ketchup also, it is 25% TSS. These are the ingredients for preparation of tomato ketchup. For 1 liter of tomato juice, you need 35 to 40 grams of chopped onion, 5 to 10 grams of garlic, 2 to 3 grams of red chili powder, 4 grams of each of these spices like 4 grams of cloves, cardamom, black pepper, cinnamon, each of them, and 2 to 3 ml of vinegar, and 20 to 30 grams of sugar, 10 grams of salt, and a preservative 750 ppm of benzoic acid. The method of preparation of tomato ketchup is similar to that of what you have seen in the case of your sauces in the lecture, that is chutneys and sauces. In the similar way, here also tomatoes are being used. Either you can use the tomato juice or you can use even puree or paste, and to which you add one third of the sugar. So you need, if you are using for 1 liter of the tomato juice, you will be using only one third of the sugar. So that means on 30 grams of sugar, so one third is 10 grams. So if you need to use 10 grams of sugar to make sure that it will help in fixing the color and intensifying the red tomato color. So if you don't add this sugar in the initial stages of cooking itself while concentrating the tomato juice or tomato puree, you will end up in getting a tomato ketchup which is dull or faded, or which is lacking the typical red tomato color. So you need to add this one third of the sugar in the initial stages of cooking. But if you put the entire sugar initially, so it will take more time for boiling because of the putting entire amount of sugar, and eventually this is going to affect the color and you won't be getting that bright red color. And one more thing, that you should not put the salt also in the initial stages. If you put the salt in the initial stages itself, it's going to bleach the color. The red color is lost and you will be getting a faded color because of putting the salt initially. So the two things need to take care, that you need to put one third of the sugar required and no salt. And you need to prepare a spice bag, so which consists of chopped onion, garlic, chili powder, and coarsely ground cloves, cardamom, black pepper, and cinnamon. They need to be placed in a kind of a muslin cloth and tied it, and it has to be dipped while the tomato juice is getting concentrated over the pan. So when it is concentrated over the pan, this spice bag has to be completely dipped, and occasionally it needs to be pressed so that whatever the extracts or the spice extracts, they get liberated and get into the, or incorporated into the tomato juice. Finally, once all the extracts are got into the tomato juice, it needs to be squeezed out and then remove it once the tomato juice is thickened. And finally, before removing from the pan, required amount of salt has to be added. So here we are preventing the bleaching by adding the salt at the end of the cooking process, and even we are preventing acid volatilization, so by adding vinegar at the end. So here we'll add salt and vinegar at the end, and then the required specifications. So for ketchup, or 1.25% to 1.5% acid, and solids, that is TSS, needs to be 25 to 30%, in which 12% must be from the tomato solids. Remaining things can be the spices and other soluble solids. Once it is added with salt and vinegar, they are filled into the bottles when it is still hot, and then it is sealed by crown corking it, and then they are allowed to process at 30 minutes, and then later they are cooled. So they can also be added with a preservative, that is your sodium benzoate, to prevent microbial spoilage. Another tomato product which is considered as most favorite soup of most of the people, that is tomato soup. So this is also prepared from either tomato pulp or tomato juice. It is similar to tomato ketchup. Only thing is, after reaching certain consistency by incorporating with your spices, it will be added with what do you call your starch as well as butter. The starch and butter is mixed separately, and then it is added to the ketchup that is being cooked. So not exactly ketchup in the sense, in a way similar to that of what is how it is the ketchup is being cooked. So while it is under cooking process with the tomato soup along with the spice bags, so you prepare amount of little amount of your butter as well as the arrowroot starch. It is mixed and then it is added to the mixture and you will get this the consistency that you desire for relishing the tomato soup. Though this tomato soup is slightly similar to that of what you prepare, how you prepare this tomato ketchup, the ingredients required are slightly less compared to that of tomato ketchup. So for every 1 liter of tomato juice, you require 20 grams of salt, 20 grams of sugar, and 1 gram each of cardamom, black pepper, cinnamon, cumin, and onions, chopped onions, which are 20 grams, and 2 grams of red chilies, and 20 grams of butter you need, and a starch, which is different from that of the ketchup. The butter and the starch. The butter is 20 grams and the starch is 10 grams, and chopped garlic 5 grams. You need water of 350 ml for the preparation of your tomato soup. For preparation of tomato soup, again the tomato juice is initially used, and it has to be concentrated in an open pan. The tomato juice is taken in open pan and it is allowed to evaporate and allowed to concentrate. When it is concentrating, it needs to be dipped with a spice bag. You place all the spice bag, that is chopped onion, garlic, and the coarsely ground spices, and placed in a spice bag and get it dipped in the boiling mixture. And when the mixture is boiling, meanwhile what you need to do is you need to take a little amount of this tomato juice in a small bowl and then mix the required amount of arrowroot starch powder and then the butter. So mix them together nicely, and then to the boiling mixture this prepared mixture has to be added, and then it has to be boiled continuously till you get a desired consistency, what you feel like having it as a tomato soup. And then before taking it out, before completion of the cooking, so what you need to do, add little amount of the required amount of your sugar and salt, and allow it to boil for further few minutes so that the added sugar and salt gets dissolved. This kind of prepared tomato soup can also be preserved by pouring them in pre-sterilized bottles when the soup is still hot, and then that is sealed by using crown corking machine, and then it is processed at 100 to 110 degrees Celsius for 20 to 45 minutes, and later the bottles are allowed to cool by air cooling, and there goes the tomato soup, which can be consumed as and when you need by just heating it. Just like the fruit juice powders, tomato juice can also be converted or processed into the powdered form. Whatever the juice that is extracted can be converted by using spray drying technology or by roller drying technology or by foam drying. The juice can be converted, made into a free flowing and hygroscopic powder, and during this processing there may be the flavor may be lost. So this lost flavors can be compensated. The lost flavors can be incorporated by adding natural tomato flavors into the powder. Thereby the flavor is intact, and you can use the tomato juice as and when you need, because it has got its own advantages like reduced space, and it has got long shelf life, and it has got a unique flavor and texture. As and when you require, you can carry it anywhere. It can be readily be saturated or readily be converted into reconstituted tomato juice by adding water. So that is how a tomato powder is prepared. The final product that is prepared from the tomatoes is tomato cocktail. As the name indicates, cocktail means mixture of one or more juices. Here, the tomato juice is mixed with a unique sauce, that is Worcestershire sauce. So this is a sauce that is prepared from the fermentation of certain grains added with spices, and another juice using lime or lemon juice. So these are mixed together to form a tomato cocktail. So the tomato cocktail is a mixture of tomato juice added with spices, salt, vinegar, and then the mixing along with the Worcestershire sauce and lime or lemon juice. So that becomes your tomato cocktail. This is the recipe for the preparation of tomato cocktail. For 5 liters of tomato juice, you need 100 grams of common salt and 2 grams each of cumin, cardamom, coriander seed, cinnamon, and black pepper. And you need 5 cloves, and then 5 grams of red chili powder and 300 ml of vinegar for preparation of this cocktail. This tomato cocktail can be prepared just before serving, or this can also be prepared from the stock, and then this stock can be used for mixing with Worcestershire sauce or addition of lime or lemon juice to make it as a tomato cocktail. Tomato cocktail is prepared from again the tomato juice. So the tomato juice is allowed to simmer. Simmer in the sense they are allowed to cook under a very low flame under a cover with a dipped spice bag in it. You need to prepare the spice bag including whatever the spices that are required, the coarsely ground ones, and make it into a bag and dip it inside the tomato juice and allowed to cook slowly under low flame. And then it is cooked for a period of 20 minutes. Once it is cooked, and then add vinegar and salt, and you cook it for further few minutes till this salt gets into the tomato juice completely and gets dissolved. Mix all the ingredients and then fill it in the bottles when it is still hot, and close the lid or seal it, and then it is processed at 100 to 110 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes by immersing in boiling water, and then later it is allowed to cool and they can be stored. Here is the summary of the entire lecture, where the tomato juice is the extracted juice from the fresh tomatoes. If it is further concentrated to 9 to 12 TSS, that becomes your puree. If it is further concentrated to an extent of 25% TSS, it becomes a paste. And then if it is added with spices by using a spice bag and vinegar, that becomes a ketchup. And if that ketchup is added with starch, arrowroot starch, and then butter, that becomes a soup. If the tomato juice is dehydrated and made into the form of a hygroscopic powder, that becomes a tomato powder. And if the same tomato juice is incorporated with certain spices, and then it is mixed with a lemon juice and Worcestershire sauce, that becomes a cocktail. So hope you understood different tomato products.